All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the February 2026 edition of the Athens in Motion Mission meeting. And I'll go ahead and call roll. Lauren, Art,
Here.
Teresa, here. Randy's out due to family illness. Alan is not in yet. Ed,
Here.
Blaine,
Here.
Gabriella, maybe she'll come in late. Aaron.
Yes.
All right. Looks like we have a quorum. We also have Daniel, Katie, welcome Stephen. We have Jeremy, Tina, and Todd. And Scott is, yeah, he's up here. Great. Okay, I'm going to, let me share my screen here. I'm going to make, we're getting started a little late, but I'm going to make a slight adjustment to our agenda. I have this item here about May Bike Month events. And that includes a potential anchor event, which Stephen is in the loop on. So I'm going to save that conversation until after plan revision, if that sounds okay to you, Stephen, so we can move into that while you're here with us. Is everyone okay with that? I'm just going to shift that. And that will be right for staff updates, and that will be good because we can also include, I want to include staff on that conversation as well. Right. So we'll have big update about the plan revision. We're going to talk about May being National Bike Month and a potential event that we may partner with some folks on. Then we'll do staff updates like usual. And I'm going to try and get us out here a little early. We'll see if that actually happens. There's another meeting after this one that I'd like to attend and talk to folks about this Bike Month stuff. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve our agenda.
Second.
Okay, first, Teresa, second, Art. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. And then let me see. Okay, before we go into the minutes, I just want to acknowledge that the Greenway Commission has sent us some public comments from the network plan. And do you just want to mention that real quick, just to say like what you had told me?
Yes, I sent a copy of the public comments from the Greenway Network Plan to Lauren to share with everybody. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time on it here, but the reason why the Greenway Commission thought that it would be of interest was there was a lot of things to do with the Firefly Trail, as well as comments regarding eminent domain and all that bid for acquisition of lands, and just a number of things that just made us think that, wow, Athens in Motion ought to get a chance to read that too. I don't know how sensitive such documents are. The Greenway Commission chair had no issues with us sharing it here, but we should probably keep it to ourselves.
Yeah, I think usually some of the stuff like ends up is public record.
It almost certainly is public
Yeah.
record, but whether or not we're the ones that distribute it is another thing.
Yeah, so what I would like to, it's not too long, as I'd like to just organize it and maybe highlight some things that are specifically bike ped related or I think relevant to this group. And I'm not going to take anything out. I'm just going to like go through it really quickly and then share with y'all. And if you would like to have an agenda item to talk about this next month, we could do that. But since we just got it.
And apologies for that.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's.
Do you have a executive summary of what we should be looking for?
Things like, we don't think there ought to be Greenway stuff, and there's murders and robbers and rapists and whatnot, and eminent domain is evil and you should never use it. Things like that. But I mean, there's, just some relevance. We didn't think that there was anything in those comments that caused us to alter the network plan that we had posted for comment. Okay. But there was just some things that people took the time to actually make a comment about.
Okay, yeah, so, and thanks for sending that along. Thanks to Charlie, the chair of the Greenway Commission. So yeah, again, it's not too long, so I'll parse it, and just kind of highlight things, and I won't take anything out. So we can look at that and see what parts, interface with bike ped and general transportation. And we can have a discussion about that, if y'all would like at the next meeting. But I want to acknowledge that under, public comment, because that's communication officially received, and acknowledge that we have officially received that from the Greenway Commission. Thank you, Ed. Okay, next, I'm going to share the screen again for our minutes from January. Are linked on the agenda now, and they're also on our folder. Yeah. This is fun. Make this big. Plan revision. We had a brief update on T-SPLOST 2026, which is that the Mayor Commission had passed their project list. We did a year in review on the crash report, and then we received the Vision Zero dashboard. I forgot to mention this, but Flagpole has highlighted both the Vision Zero dashboard, and they actually used our meeting from that. So Daniel got quoted. I got quoted too. It's so fun to open Flagpole and be like, oh, here's something I really care about. Oh, there's Daniel.
Yeah,
There's me.
and subsequently audited.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Flagpole has also done a story about the safety action plan as well. So, appreciate the local coverage there and getting that information out. And this group and staff have been very busy. I want to acknowledge that. Thank y'all. And that was our meeting in January. So, any corrections to the minutes here? I'm gonna add this here. With that, I will entertain a motion to approve our minutes from January.
Approve.
All right, Alan first.
Second.
Second from Aaron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Blaine. Next up, we'll roll right into the plan revision update all the way through for, I guess we'll talk about it until Stephen has to leave. So, yeah.
You can keep going after I leave.
Okay, yeah, so kick it over to staff for that. Very exciting. That's
Right. All right. And that'd be tricky.
the one chair. Oh, that's
You don't want to see that, you haven't.
Yeah.
It'd be worse.
Okay. First of all, while I'm thinking of it, got some name tags.
Oh, great. Oh, dang, I forgot my name tag again.
Yes, okay, they're both in here. Aaron Bradman.
Thank you.
I'll handle it.
Gabriella, I finally got your name tag. So, what we have here is, see if I can turn off.
Oh, thank you. I like do wear it at meetings. If you want to, yeah, or like when we do public events and stuff. Yeah,
That's what
yeah, I think Sharice is great about remembering hers and I.
You know.
Social.
It's like what you make
Trust me, it's a good icebreaker.
So this is the prioritized network. This is a static map. The other one is a interactive map, just to be able to zoom in and click on things. So we went through the prioritization criteria, which is 100% data driven. So the list of projects you'll see prioritized is a weighted score. Do I need to remind y'all about the weights and the criteria that we used, or do y'all remember? I don't even know if, okay. I will get that pulled up as well, but we had 4 areas. Safety, connectivity, equity, and public input. So these scores kind of get added up. And then there's also weight applied to them. So I'll pull up a thing to give us that. And it looks like a lot of different colors. We're gonna kind of work through it.
TAI equals weighted or?
Yeah, that's the Transportation Access Index.
Oh, equity, gotcha.
So equity. I'm gonna start with turning off all of that. So these are all of the GDOT roads. Some of these projects overlap between GDOT and ACC because the project boundaries don't stop necessarily on the ownership change point. So there's only one that says both, but or no, there's 2. But these are the scores based on our weighted stuff.
that just a little bit.
Zoom
Make it bigger.
in, okay.
Yeah.
So what we have, just to give y'all context for this, so the full name, this is the name of the, like, it's the approximate name of the project. Sometimes the project has multiple streets, and they're not always listed here. This just says whether or not there is sidewalk included, so the ones without already have sidewalk along them. The ones that say sidewalk do not have some element of sidewalk in the project. So it's a bike ped project versus a bike only project. There are a couple of these that are pedestrian only, but that's not really marked anywhere. So I'll just have to like point those out as it's relevant.
Like there's some presence, there's some sidewalk on one side of the street, because Oak Street only has sidewalk on one side.
Yeah, so that one is listed, I guess, as having sidewalk already. But what we can do is, it also depends on so number 46, so like what we could do. And I could come in here and just make sure. That is project 46, so.
While you're pulling that up, so know that this is sort of a draft document, right? So there's room for changes in the projects, but also in how you look at it. So I think it's also fair to ask, you know, like for instance, I think we already said to the consultant, we'd like to see a to from for each of these. So we know not just the name of the road, but which, you know, what section of it.
Yeah.
So if you see anything else that's confusing or needs, you know, for instance, the 4 scores, like TII doesn't mean a lot, you know, HIN doesn't mean a lot. So we'll change those for the final draft as well. But as we're thinking about it, individual projects, also think about what would be helpful as far as how it looks. General public.
So I'm gonna zoom in a little. So this is the breakdown of that, the criteria, scoring criteria. So each highlighted area is a different area. So safety, the only criteria we use for this is whether or not the corridor is on the high entry network. You know, we had wanted to add in some other things. We weren't able to get the deliverables there in time. So this is so basically, when you look at the high entry network, you'll be able to see the overlap. And then if it's along the high entry network, then it got 25 points. For connectivity, we looked at community destinations, barriers, growth centers, and multimodal access. So basically, if it was within a quarter mile of one destination, whether it's parks, schools, libraries, grocery, it got 10 points here. If it was a quarter mile of 2+, then it got 15. Then barriers, if there are barriers such as railroad, bridges, those kind of things, that adds points. So the kind of thought there is if this is helping break like bridge barriers, it gives better connectivity. So, you know, if there's a bridge involved, then it goes higher on the connectivity score. And then we use the growth centers from planning, so it connects to an urban neighborhood or community center. So those are buffers. And then multimodal access. This is more about greenway access, existing bike infrastructure, or a transit stop. If there are 2+ multimodal connections, or it's on a high frequency transit route, it got 10 points. So all of that, you can see there's a lot of different things. The max points is 25.
So, higher score means greatest need, most potential for impact. Is that right, Daniel?
Yes. And then for equity, we use the transportation accessibility index. We only used a score of 3, 4, or 5. There's technically 1s and 2s, but we didn't. That was just, it was a lot of extra points, and 1s and 2s are pretty like low in terms of need. So that's just, we went 10, 15, 25. For more information about this, it'll be published in the safety action plan. But we, you know, it's what we're using for the equity scoring component over there too. So that's going to be our new standard for equity. It basically looks at all of the census block groups. I think it's block group level. Is it block group or tract?
I don't remember which
So
one.
census something rather, and it looks at different factors. Then implementation encouragement. This was basically the top corridor rankings from the online survey. So if y'all remember the survey, it basically had, you know, pick your top corridor, it's most important. If it was in the top 5, then you got 25 points. Top 10 got 20, 15, 15, 20, 10. So you get the idea. All of these are then given percentage weightings. So the lowest weight is this one right here, it's 10%. So you know, it gives you some extra points for it being popular in the public input section, but the higher priority based on the exercise we did with y'all in the spring of last year when we did the workshop, safety came in as a top priority. So we did 40%. Connectivity was a second at 30%, equity 20, and then implementation encouragement at 10. So that's how, even though there's only 100 points here, you can have scores that are over 100 because they're basically multiplied. So this is looking at only GDOT roads. The thought here is top 5 projects. So this is, you're not going to see a tier 1, 2, and 3. You're going to see top projects. So priority projects for GDOT corridors. You see that there's more than 5 selected, but that's because, you know, as you can see, some of these are long corridors. The way that this is going to kind of appear in the document is it'll show the corridor of Lexington Road. And we're basically going to have a 1-pager for each of these things. So when I say 1-pager, I mean, you know, here's a map, the corridor, here's the various phases that might be included there. Here's existing conditions. Here's the studies that have been done, ongoing projects, opportunities. There's various, you know, we've talked about project delivery method here. So not everything is a capital project. Some things can be a road diet. Some things can be a pilot project. Some things are a capital project. You know, there's gap programs. There's different ways to accomplish all of these projects. So that'll be included. There'll be like a little score thing. You know, it's not materialized yet, but that's the goal, is to basically, if you look at a project page, you can get all the information you need, an overview of all the information at the very least. So we kind of went top down. The number 1 project was based on the prioritization was Lexington Road and then West Broad. And so right here, I'm gonna real quick, just, you can see, the main thing to point out here is that like Atlanta Highway, because there was all of the West Broad things, we could merge Atlanta Highway into West Broad as one big project. But I kind of cut it off at, this stops at Epps Road, where it turns into Atlanta Highway. And then South Millage came in as a priority as well. So I do it by this order. This shows you an order. So basically there are 3 sub-projects for Lexington Road. There are 3 sub-projects for Broad Street. There's 1 for Oconee Street. You know, the 4th project is the GDOT section of Prince Avenue. And then the 5th project is South Millage. I think to get feedback from y'all, do you feel like we should include Atlanta Highway in the Broad Street, or is that too far?
Where did the 5 projects come from? These are, and what's the significance of that? I mean, is that the things that we're going to be cheering for the loudest going forward, or what?
Yeah, so when it comes time to like determine where funding goes from the Athens in Motion program, specifically our capital program for this, it's gonna be like what staff are pushing forward. So, you know, while these are also important corridors to consider, these are the top ones, the top 5. I just sorted it by the weighted score, so you can see basically this one, Lexington Road, came up with a max score on all the things. West Broad came in, so that'll tell you, this tells you why it is the highest. And we basically just went down the list. Like I said, the only one that is really on the fence, if y'all feel like Atlanta Highway should be added in to the Broad Street, we could do that. I think number 36.
Personally, I'd say yes to the in-town section of the Atlanta Highway. And out past the mall, maybe not.
Are there any public comments about certain sections that would?
So the section of Atlanta Highway that came in higher on that score is the section from Timothy to 78. So this is slightly lower priority. Number 37, what we could do is go over here. Yeah, that's the next one below South Millage.
It's interesting because that's where the GDOT project is.
Yeah.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, so, you know, I think one of the like hangups with the prioritization method is, you know, data is not perfect. And we, you know, just having something in the high entry network may not be enough to say safety is absolute need versus not at all, right? It's a range of things. We don't really have a way to have various inputs though. So that's where it's kind of tricky, and we can be flexible. You'll see later on, we don't necessarily have to go in and say all of the highest weighted scores. The data-driven approach is perfect. You know,
It looks like the TAI score has the most variability. And I'm wondering, like, I'm looking at,
37.
I mean, just as an example.
That means that section of town, which would be, sorry. So 37. So that means that basically this part of town is either a score.
It was Oconee Street, wasn't
Was it? Atlanta Highway.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Line
There's another.
number versus ID number, yeah.
Yeah, so that just means that the tracks that are along Atlanta Highway right there are either a 1 or a 2 on that index. So,
So maybe just businesses?
It's more commercial.
yeah,
A lot of residential happening. Part of town.
Kind of, seems like a weird,
What the, yeah,
That
how
strikes
is that
me.
inaccurate?
well, or I mean, I would think that that area would be of high interest to a variety of people, not.
I think that's
Want
covered,
that.
that's covered in, the connectivity part,
Mhm.
commercial areas versus, I think the equity component is more about who's living here.
I'm just pointing it out because it looks like that's the thing that dinged that's what brought it below.
Right.
The proposed line to consider everything else is perfect on that. And I just was wondering.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, like, you know, if there's a couple things that can be done, if we think that South Millage doesn't need to be in there, then, in this section, these sections of South Millage, I believe, let's see, that's 31 and 32. Believe that's from Baxter Street, so that's 32. And yeah, that's 31. So 31 and 32 is from Macon Highway to, is it Baxter? I'm trying to,
South Village started at Broad.
I'm talking about the project extents.
Oh, okay.
Because basically this one is a separate project here. It splits into North Millage, I guess, at Baxter up to, I'm trying to see. Yeah, it looks like it's highlighted up to Prince. So from Prince to Baxter is one project. That's project number 33. From Baxter to East Campus Road is project 32. And then from East Campus to Macon Highway is 31. And the projects south of there are locally owned. So you'll also see that when we get to the TPW section, that there's like a section of millage that became prioritized there, I believe. So just to say that from Baxter to Macon Highway is a section that would be highlighted. You know, if you look at this, the North Millage project came in at an 82. So if we feel like Atlanta Highway should be on there, but South Millage not, then you could justify, because this one is connected to the network by these two. If we feel like all 5 of these sub-projects, Broad Street and Atlanta Highway, should be merged into one big corridor, that would essentially show a priority from, that's not 78, is it? That's Jimmy Daniel Road. So from essentially the Greenway all the way out to Jimmy Daniel Road. It felt a little long.
Isn't one of the Atlanta highway sections not represented in there? Because it sounds like that 37 as we're talking about, it's the first one is out near the mall, and then the next piece starts at Hawthorne, but the piece between the loop and Hawthorne, is that?
It's actually between Epps Bridge and Timothy. That section is this one right here. 37.
So it would be,
So you can loop in.
37 would be looping 37, but not, so 36 is one that's way out by the mall?
Yeah, yeah, so 36 is from Atlanta Highway to Jimmy Daniel Road. I'm just gonna make a quick little.
As long as the pieces are contiguous, it would make sense to group.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a question to ask. Does it matter if these are contiguous? Like, if you're gonna merge it into a bigger project, I would say yes. If you have it as a standalone, maybe not necessary. Like, how do y'all feel about merging multiple projects into, you know, this top 5 list? Would you prefer it to say Lexington, this project, West Broad, like the top 5 would be these 5 right here? And it would just be those 5 if you only did by the project extents.
So what, let's just talk about the pros and cons.
Yeah.
What are the pros of doing that would mean that all those little bits and pieces put into a higher priority.
Yeah, the pros are that with the GDOT highway specifically, the character is fairly similar. I will say with the caveat that Atlanta Highway is not weird. Atlanta Highway is a different character, obviously, than the downtown West Broad or East Broad. The pros are by merging some of these together, like those top two Lexingtons, those are pretty much identical corridors. And if you're working on projects over there, you don't want to necessarily be like, okay, GDOT, here's funding for project 50, and then number 3 on the list is project 49. So here's a separate project for 49. It kind of makes more sense to go to them with, this is the corridor, and here's phase 1, here's phase 2. Now, I will say with Lexington specifically, we have 3 T-Splosh projects that are ongoing right there, where sidewalks are being built on the south side. The multi-use path from Walmart to that neighborhood, and then a multi-use path from the Firefly down to Atlas Way. Those are 3 projects that are funded, and there may be more as time goes on, whether there's funding for the corridor or whether, you know, there's some cost savings and they're able to move into the next tier. Go ahead.
I don't know if this is helpful or not, but so the purpose of something like this, right, is to guide funding decisions really more than anything else. That doesn't mean that you have to do an entire giant project before you move to something lower on the list, right? So I don't see an issue with Atlanta Highway being its own master project with little subsections in it. Doesn't mean that you have to do all of those before you move on to South Millage or to Jefferson Road or something like that, right? It just means that this document can be a guiding document for any conversations with GDOT or for external grants or with mayor and commission to kind of say, these corridors are important. You know, put some money toward this one before you move to the next one. But that doesn't mean we're gonna put our foot down and say, nope, you have to finish all of Atlanta Highway before you move on to something else, right? So I don't know if that helps as you're kind of talking through this, but.
It makes it easier to understand the scope. I mean, I always found the old Athens in Motion plan with all those little itty bitty segments, you could never tell, you know, what connected to what. And having the way the map looks with those lines that actually kind of converge and center and have the nice little spider web thing going on. I think it makes it a lot easier if you consolidate a bit, just at least in terms of description. It doesn't have to be, you know, for the project plan, like you have to do it, like you said.
Maybe it's, Daniel, I know you mentioned most Atlanta highways the same, but maybe it's grouping them contextually, like where it's a certain number of lanes or, you know, that's easier to digest.
I mean, the sensible thing for me would be the West Broad roundabout that's going in west. So that would be parts of West Broad Street and Atlanta Highway merged all into one corridor. And then from there heading east, from there into downtown, basically where, you know, you head up the hill, cross Millage, get into downtown, go through downtown, go down the hill where we have existing bike lanes to MLK.
Yeah.
So that also shifts character a lot, but even with that, that would basically knock Millage out of. So this is kind of replacing the like critical corridors. We don't have critical corridors in this round of Athens in Motion. So you may have remembered we had critical corridors, here they are. If it is on one, it got prioritized slightly higher. That's gone away and it's replaced with this.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we get to the list of locally owned roads because that's where we have the biggest say. And that's where we're pretty much reliant on local dollars. So I don't, do we need, how much do we need to make a decision today about how these roads are divided up? Because I feel like we could spend another hour talking about that.
You know, I just go back and forth and we talk about it as staff and I mean,
Yeah.
Give me some feedback and you're not making the final decision here. I'll try to weigh the pros and cons and see if there's a way, but Um,
Downside to consolidating some of these projects into a bigger project.
you know, the downside I think would be the goal with this is to have a one pager. And when you have a corridor that's 6 miles long, it's really hard to summarize everything that's happened on that corridor into one. Now, maybe we do a spread instead. So if you open up the document, you have like a map of both and it gives you a left and right page. Maybe just for the GDOT, we have a spread and then the other ones have a, one pager. This is kind of like, it's a work in progress. I want it to be easy to understand. Ultimately, the Athens Motion Plan, the key deliverable that comes out of this, I think, is something that's digestible and easy to understand for the residents, everyday person.
And most of this is basically like US 78.
Yeah.
Right, so in my mind, I see Atlanta Highway as one project down, so we're going east to the river. That's Atlanta Highway. I know it's kind of big, but that's pretty much the same context throughout. It gets a little busy. Then West Broad Street from the river to the roundabout, that's where we have the most people dying on the road. The context changes, it's 6 lanes, it's nuts, okay? And then in town, starting from the West Broad roundabout, including East Broad, and you could potentially, if you were trying to group things together, you could include Oconee Street because it's starting to get that similar kind of in-town vibe. If you wanted to put those two things together. So that would be the West Broad roundabout to Oak Street where the new interchange is and everything there. So that could be your in-town kind of segment. Then you have Lexington. So that, what is that, 4 segments? And does that keep millage on there? Because I think millage should be on here.
So I think the main change that you're saying is you would just shift, instead of saying from the start of West Broad to the river here, the new bounds would be from the roundabout to the interchange.
Yeah. This is like your in-town.
So that's one project.
That's one suggestion.
And then, so project 1 would be Lexington Road out here.
Yeah.
Project 2 or whatever would be this one. Then project 3 is like Prince Avenue. Project 4 would be Atlanta Highway and West Broad from the roundabout out to Jimmy Daniel Road. And project 5 would then be South Village.
Is that everything?
I like it. Done.
Cool.
Yeah.
No.
So
Merge.
do we have any, with this, does GDOT want to hear our opinion?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to talk about how this helps us interface with them?
Yeah, it certainly do. These days, they're working pretty heavily with us on a number of these. Especially their safety team has recently, it's been a few years now, has put together safety audits along a number of these areas. And so they want to know if there's buy-in locally. We actually have a signed agreement with GDOT for a section of this to do multi-use path from Epps Bridge to the roundabout. And it's the original aim plan that kind of started that kicked off to show them this is a big priority for, so having an updated document that shows those priorities helps a lot.
Yeah, you need Daniel?
Yeah.
I noticed we're referencing the roundabout. Is that a thing yet?
Well, it's,
Yeah.
so it's starting this year. So we will see actual groundbreaking finally this summer.
They already tore down the plumbing office, is that right?
It's been glass.
Yeah.
Yep. And all the right of way has been finally figured out. So we should be some groundbreaking soon.
Great.
So, all right, looks a little messier. We'll go through it all. The blue is just the holdover from both the GDOT. So this is probably gonna need to be split if we're gonna actually include. I need to see if we can rerun the scores, but East Broad, this is like half of this is GDOT and half of it's ACC. I don't know if the ACC portion scores as high without the GDOT portion. but you can see it is up towards the top here, so, what we've got here is Hawthorne Avenue is the number one. Right here, I've got funded and underway. This is kind of notes for us, just to know what's going on. The planning study reference is regarding Reconnecting Communities program. That's funded through that, so we're gonna have plans at the end of that. It won't go straight, we'll have to get another grant for implementation, so I didn't want to say it was funded for construction. Whereas like the yellow ones here are the ones that are underway.
But Hawthorne Avenue sidewalk, is that just right up there close to Broad Street?
That just means that along this section of Project 79, I think it is that section, it's the southern one.
Right, because as you get closer to the Y and everything, I know there's sidewalks on both sides.
No, that one's also missing some sidewalk too. So they both have sidewalk as part of those. I think there's on the park side.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be clear, if it, in column C, if it says sidewalk, it means as part of this project, we're recommending to build sidewalk.
Yes.
Correct? If it has a blank there, that means that sidewalk already exists or that is not being considered.
It means that there is likely already sidewalk. So it's basically, yeah, at the end, we're gonna have a full table that has all the data and stuff, and it'll probably be in the appendix. It'll be our GIS layer, which is a lot easier to sort than like a printed table, but yeah, you're gonna have sidewalk only projects, you're gonna have bike and pedestrian projects, sidewalks and bike lanes, and then you're gonna have
So maybe in the final version of this, that column could be titled something like proposed pedestrian facility type. And then it could be either blank existing sidewalk.
like that. This is actually talking about the bikeway. So like that one was actually incorrect because this is a sidewalk only project, I'm pretty sure. Morse Grove Road. So
That would make sense then, right? They're
And then this is
proposing
going-
sidewalk and they're not proposing bikes.
yeah, so that shows you the sidewalk and it's a priority upgrade with new separated bikeway.
What's the difference between the two different Barnett Shoals?
So
So
many Barnett Shoals.
this one is I'm gonna say Barnett Shoals North, which is the one that connects to Lexington Road.
In Clark.
Yeah,
At least three, right?
there's
Three in Clark.
three.
It's true.
Fourth one's in Oconee.
This one is the one that connects to Gaines School Road. So it's in a continuation of Gaines School over towards here.
Basically from Research to College Station or Research to Lexington.
So this is that top Barnett Shoals Road. This is the second Barnett Shoals Road. You can see the third one, this came in a lower priority here. This one popped up a little bit because of access to the school, I believe. Yeah.
Sorry.
So these are important to connect to Firefly. Eventually, I mean, in terms of just overall connectivity.
To Firefly Trail?
Yeah,
Not that section.
well, eventually, when both,
Firefly is down from it. Firefly is all up here.
I guess I'm looking at just how to get there from, maybe not.
Well, I mean, in the sense of like a connected network will take you anywhere you want to go, and one of those destinations being Firefly, then yeah, tying that all together would, because once this section of Lexington has bikeways and there's the connectivity, then you could right like that.
That's kind of what I was.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I've got a few things here. I've got green, which is top 10. Orange is the next 5 after that. So if you want 20 projects in the Athens in Motion plan, 5 of them GDOT, 15 of them ACC, we can do that. If you want 15 projects where it's a top 5 and a top 10, we can do that. So I can just start with the top 10 if that's helpful. So Hawthorne, you can see that's the only one that's really being merged into one over here. So we're doing a similar thing where, because it's two different segments, the northern and then the southern, we just merged them all into one because they're both funded in that planning study. And then the next one is East 30 that goes into North Avenue. So you see, I skipped Prince Avenue because it's already underway. So we're not gonna have a one pager on that. East 30, basically it connects from MLK up to Prince. So that is coming in at number 2. Number 3 is Barnett Shoals Road. That one, there's a T-Splosh project in 2026. So if that's helpful. I just wanted to make that note. South Millage. This one is the locally owned section. And it is this one from Whitehall up to basically River Bend Road. I think that
It's local and the other one's Cheetah. That's interesting.
what's that?
It's interesting that it's local and.
Yeah, it used to be the way
From the bypass, it's.
Okay.
Macon Highway used to be the main route in and out of town. And so it was Macon Highway was GDOT and then you turn left and it continued GDOT all the way up. And so that's why the southern port never got claimed by the state.
Yeah. Technically, I think the constraints on that one, it stops before it gets to Riverbend Road, but I'm gonna be pushing to extend it up to that point since we already have a project there. I think
Daniel, that section of Millage, I don't think it has sidewalk either, right? So
No.
would that not be part of the proposal?
it should be, let's look at this and see. It says it's not showing a sidewalk, so.
Especially with all the new stuff going out there from UGA, like.
Yeah, that new tractor facility. New entrance to the Lot Garden.
Yeah, all the upgrades there.
Yeah,
You know, it's also paralleling the railroad tracks that UGA owns now. Not sure if there's any progress in deciding what to do with these, but if that was turned into a nice throughfare, pedestrian, bike-friendly thing, then that would be really the better, I think, solution than trying to.
The Greenway Commission has been pushing for that as well.
I have added sidewalk on Village, thank you. So North Avenue. I've got this marked as a current project, it's funded and underway, but that came in as a top project, so.
should we mention for South Millage on the locally owned side, the T-Splosh 2026 traffic circle project? Should we just have that as a note? Because we will want to interface with them
What is
when they're
it?
putting in that traffic circle, if this is funded.
Which traffic, sir?
It's traffic circle on South Millage Avenue at UGA Jack Turner Complex, which.
Between the track and the soccer softball.
Is it a
Yeah.
roundabout?
Yeah, I think
really?
that's on the final
It's a
list.
T-Splosh 2026.
Yes.
Yeah.
Split funded.
Surprising.
Interesting.
There's a potential,
Okay, so they decided to split it. I was trying to figure out where they got their numbers.
that's 50%.
I was under,
Rock Gardens, I guess.
but that's probably a really good idea.
Yeah. It's where the new stadium is.
Yeah, I have not fully familiarized myself with the 26.
Well, that's,
project,
I mean,
so-
it's not like it's passed yet.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's,
So-
so that's good to know. I went ahead and added T-Splosh 2026 just because, ideally that would incorporate in the design.
Yeah.
Yeah, next after that, this one got merged into the upper Hawthorne, so we move on to, this is the 5th. You can tell it's the 5th, right, TPW 5. It's just like project 5 that's in the top. So the 5th one is College Station Road. This one is basically from East Campus to, yes. Thank you, North Coney Access Road. So that one would be, it says priority upgrade because it already has bike lanes. So, that would be kind of doing something to add protection there.
Right, and this is also in T-Splosh 2026, but I don't know if it's the whole section of College Station or if they had,
No, it looks like there's another section of College Station.
The residential portion
again, let me see.
is the residential portion.
To add concrete bike lane barriers and appropriate striping for the north and south side of the bike lanes on College Station Road, approximately 2.3 miles.
Okay, so that's in T-Splosh.
It's in, I believe it's in 2026. I don't know if it's fully funded.
2.3 miles would go farther than East Campus to the North County.
I've heard about this.
Which one?
College Station Road.
That could be the whole length of College Station.
There's funding in 2026 for protecting the bike lanes.
Personally, I think they need to care the love.
At least have the research.
2026, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's one of the projects.
Barnett Schultz.
I guess I haven't.
Barnett Schultz.
I don't know if we should.
Yeah, Barnett. Help.
I mean, as soon as it passes, I think it will affect this list.
Okay. Well, right now it's just this portion that's in that top tier. Am I hearing that y'all would prefer to just go ahead and just ship the whole thing? Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, these bike lanes have been upgraded already because they were 4 foot and then we asked for them to be 5 foot when there was some work done on it. But, I mean, there's funding there, so.
I mean,
We get them paved with gold and they're asking for everything else on that section before anybody else in town gets anything.
Gabrielle, what were you gonna say?
I mean, biked on that section of College Station. It's really rather scary.
Yeah, well, the way, I think, what we're trying to do in the future is not just have bike lanes by themselves, you know, so the question is always like, do we upgrade what's there and make it safer? Or do we try and put bike lanes where there are none? And there's that tension there. And certainly it's not going to be a bad thing to have an upgraded bike lane through there.
And that's probably a different, like, that could potentially be lane narrowing that gives us an extra few feet to put in a buffer and protection. So that could be a low cost, quick build solution. Like I said, this is like, here's our top 10, and then we're gonna have information about the different project delivery types, strategies that can be done for those top 10. So they're not all gonna be rip out and build brand new infrastructure.
I mean, GDOT recently, well, a year ago, lowered the speed limit from 45 to 35 in that stretch, and which helps, but nobody actually follows it or pays attention to it. It's, I mean, some like road diet type thing that would involve some, slowing down the traffic to the posted speed would be really great.
Lane narrowing would be good.
Yeah.
Lane narrowing, protection.
So I'll merge that in. Barnett Shoals Road. This is that one, like I said, that goes along where Gaines School Road turns into Barnett Shoals. So kind of on the south side of the new Kroger. I believe it goes out here to Barnett Shoals Road. So. Maybe as part of that project, we can rename it. I don't know.
Well, then you'd have 2 disjoint Barnett Shoals roads.
Then you do Barnett Shoals Parkway. Slap on a PKWI.
Stay Gaines School. All the way
Yeah, I feel like it could.
Well, no, then you'd have it.
South Larkin.
Lexington.
So
Change it twice.
came in. This is, it's the portion. Okay, it says South Lumpkin, but like this reads as North Lumpkin, which the bike lanes are totally fine in that spot. Let me double check something. This is 88. Try to get on top of all of it, but yeah, so I feel like that section's fine. If I had caught that, I probably would have.
Yeah.
Done. I would have not had that included. So I'm gonna say that was completed. That was a restriping project that we did.
Uh-huh.
So that's an example of how we can accomplish bike infrastructure with just restriping when we're repaving. That opens up one more below. So, let's do this. All right. So then, Gaines School Road.
Lord, yes.
So you could potentially merge this with the Barnett Shoals Road right above it. And just do one big project there. You could keep it as two separate projects. Depends on if you want the top 10 to be smaller, achievable projects, or if you want it similar to what we did for GDOT, where we're merging a bunch of segments.
I'm gonna propose that Gaines School stays separate because the lane narrows. We have less to work with and there's schools over that way. So it's a little bit of a different context. I think it's worth keeping that one separate. I think it's just because I think it's gonna be more challenging,
Any
but y'all let me know.
discussion on that? Cool. All right. I have it separate right now, so we'll just leave it. North Thomas Street,
Yes.
that is the downtown section. So I believe, yeah. Cuts off at Broad.
From Broad to North, right?
Yeah.
To Dougherty.
Yeah. Then Morris Grove Road sidewalk project.
Yeah, this will be the first time Morris Grove Road is on Athens in Motion Plan.
Yeah.
Welcome to the plan, Morris Grove Road, 50 miles per hour.
Here it is, Morris Road.
Well, I can show
Where
you.
they want to put a new data center.
It's
Oh, well, we need to be able to ride to that.
right here. So it parallels where the Firefly Trail comes in to Morris Grove right here.
Goes into downtown
The
Winterville.
data centers on, Athena. Or that's where they want to.
Like right north of
It's like parallel.
Morris Grove on Boyles,
It's the studio,
the Athena,
the studio. That they're trying to turn into a data center.
and that intersection on the Boyles side of there was where they wanted to put one as well.
It's possible they want to put two. That
And I saw that there's a big talk this week held at the church across the street.
Sorry.
no, we're having a data center.
Okay, cool. Just to,
That's cool. Morris Grove Road has, it has some sidewalk, but yeah, it needs obviously more. I think it has sidewalk up until the Winterville,
yeah.
Right.
So
That's
this picks up, when I was in leisure services, we got comments about that at our public input open house where they were like, we've been asking for the sidewalk to be built to the school.
right.
And it would take you basically from Winterville out to the middle school. So cool. So that could ideally be incorporated into the school itself and that would be the end point of that project.
Yeah.
And last,
And then last would be Pulaski Street. So this one's interesting because this project limit basically goes from Cleveland to Broad. So we all know that this section of Pulaski is very different from this southern section. We'll probably show the two different character areas in the one pager cross section. That one just basically got added in because of the merger above or the removal of something. I can't remember what.
Where would you split the infrastructure on Pulaski?
So the upper section would be new neighborhood bikeway. So it would basically be, you could do speed tables, you could remove parking, you could define parking, you could convert it to one way. You could, have sharrows, like it's a slow speed road. So the difference between the separated bikeway versus new neighborhood bikeway, like think bike boulevard versus multi-use path or like cycle track, because obviously on the residential section, the northern part, you're not going to get new infrastructure. You're not going to get any widening with the topography. So that would be more like traffic calming measures, ways to just make it safer for people to be on bikes. And then the southern section that goes through downtown has bike lanes, but they're very narrow, poorly defined. There's potentially, some lane changes, maybe, widening of protections, curb, I don't know.
Well, the nature of the traffic is really different too.
Yeah.
From people downtown.
And I gotta jump out in just a second, but I might encourage us to actually expand it to 15 projects. Because it seems like some of these were able to kind of call completed or funded. Also, if T-Splosh 2026 passes, there's a number of these that'll be wrapped into that. So if we end up having to kind of find funding for the others, we may want to be able to point to the next 5.
Okay.
And then just in general, as you look at these lists, y'all, if I'd like to get a sense of that, do these make sense to you? Is this, if you were writing a list off the top of your head, did some of these really make sense? And if not, what are the ones that you would say are missing or just you have questions on? Because a lot of this, especially the GDOT stuff, makes a lot of obvious sense. You're going to use 78 as your main thoroughfare. Some of these I'm glad to see made to the top of the list because they're the places we've already been talking about for years. Other ones that maybe didn't make it to the top, just, I would just like to hear your feedback on, if this just doesn't meet the eye test or not.
Where's Barber Street?
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
Not to pull the scabs off.
I know, we talked about, Daniel and I talked about that a little
Number
bit.
6.
Yeah.
So the high injury network kind of killed it. It's not on a high injury network there. So,
We can work on that. We can all go riding and that's what happens.
rack up those bike fatalities.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, John.
Steve.
Yeah, I think level of comfort is something that we wanted to incorporate, but we didn't get the deliverable in time.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part with working between multiple consultants. It's kind of like, trying to make it happen as quickly as we can, but.
And so we're kind of running out of time for this segment. So I'm wondering, do we have time to look at this and people email you feedback? Or is this,
Yeah,
what's our?
give me feedback within the next week or so, probably.
Okay, so you're gonna email this out.
How do y'all feel about the top 15? Would you prefer to keep it at 10
No, I think
or 15?
top 15.
Yeah, I think originally I was gonna say just keep it at top 10, but after hearing what Steven said.
Yeah.
I think top 15 makes sense. And we have to, that still leaves room for commissioners are gonna have their own opinion.
So, yeah,
I think the only counterbalance to that is like, if it looks like we're not making much progress because the list was so long and.
Right, yeah, so that's why I liked a shorter list, but I think with so many of them already being funded, maybe.
If we know that they're already moving forward, yeah.
and I think the other note here, just to wrap it all up, is we're gonna have a version of this that is editable, changeable. If, funding opens up down here, it doesn't mean that we can't. If there's a separate project going on down here, where they're replacing sewer line on Nelly B, it doesn't mean that we
Okay.
can't try to, it's just, again, this is to direct where our priorities are with the specific funding that we're getting for Athens and Mission, so.
Okay,
Can you just point out quickly which segment of Winterville Road number 47 is?
Yeah, so that one, I skipped it because it was kind of weird, but it's basically the section that goes from Lexington Road to Nelly B. So the Firefly Trail comes along here.
Yeah.
And so it meets up, if you're, basically the only thing that this really accomplishes is if we have bike infrastructure down here, then it connects you more directly to the Firefly. But as of right now, there's just not really any. So I almost feel like get that plugged in, get a connection built in as part of this project. So I just felt like we could, I want it to have the access, but it just didn't seem the need to be in that top 15. The other one I think was Old Hole Road. I think there was an error in their calculation for connectivity because that came out. It's this section of Old Hole Road. And there is a Kroger here, but there's not really any schools or parks or there might be some transit. I think maybe there's a barrier. There's like a railroad crossing that's no longer active. That it might have just been listed as a railroad barrier. So I was thinking that might, we're gonna double check those scores.
For whole, Old Hole Road? or-
Yeah, for Old Hole. I
We
mean,
had a fatality at the end of that,
where,
right there.
when was that?
Yeah.
Someone died crossing the street and then there's
Yeah.
been someone else along there.
No, like this last year or something.
Yeah, within the past
Few months
year.
ago.
Where, and that's,
I get it, there's been a couple of them along the
Yeah.
stretch, like,
and that's where Athens-Tech is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. That might have been what added it then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So I mean, we can have it in there. Like I said, there, we just freed up a spot earlier, so we could just do this real quick.
Does anybody live along Old Hole? Probably not in that section.
No.
I don't think there's any residences on that part.
I don't think so either. If there are not many.
There is a homeless person, but I don't think that's where you're referring to.
Um, so yeah, just to skip through these, it's Old Hole Road, Baxter, Vine Street, Cedar Shoals Drive, and Danielsville Road.
Sorry, what does that mean in orange again?
These are the top 15. So they'll be merged into green.
No, okay.
We just skipped Winterville Road because I had that mention earlier of like the existing Firefly Trail gives accomplishes connectivity until Lexington gets the bike path.
And just, I know that we're time is short, but the survey score, how extensive is that? I'm not sure how far the reach is on that, because it looks like that's another way, a lot of these places just no attention at all on the survey score. I know it's only 10%, but.
The thing that I'm kind of curious about with that is I'm pretty sure, because I think it included every road that was covered in a project, but I could be wrong. If some of these were not on the list, then they wouldn't have gotten any scores. So I'm gonna double check and follow up about that. Because yeah, the survey score, I mean, it's only 10%, so it shifts the scores a little bit, but you can see like usually like 97 to 90, 91 up to 97.
But that may make a big difference to commissioners when they look to decide if this is going to be something that they want to support or not.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and I think, and this is where the narrative part is going to be really important, where we just say these top projects. This just means this is where the funding's going. It doesn't mean that that those aren't going to be done. Like if there's other mechanisms, like if Reconnecting Communities grant, if Hawthorne wasn't on there, but Hawthorne was the best candidate for, a Reconnecting Communities, like we could literally go in and be like, okay, I want to sort these by the equity score. And so now you can see all the projects that have the highest equity score.
right, yeah,
So-
yeah, okay.
So, it kind of gives us a chance to like, if there's safety related funding, we can do it based on the high injury network, so. That's the gist.
So you're gonna send this to us. If you have comments, you've kind of heard what we've said here, right? Do we need to reiterate what we said? You've been kind of making notes along the way, right? Like changing things, yeah.
Everything we've talked about right now, yeah. I'll try to incorporate that and then send it over. Is the colors helpful or confusing?
This to me,
Helpful or confusing? Okay,
There's a lot confusing there. It ain't the colors.
yeah.
So.
Colors help me, but it's like sometimes I get like 5 or 6 colors and then I'm like, oh wait, this shade means what again? So,
yeah, and in the interest of time, like, maybe if you have thoughts, just reply all, or you can send them directly to Daniel, because what you, like a week, you guys are trying to move forward with this pretty quickly, right? Is a week enough?
I'm not sure. The reason I'm not sure is I can't remember off the top of my head when they wanted comments back. I don't,
So you'll let us know how much
I'll put it
time.
in an email, I'll send it, I'll give the summary. And yeah, if you have
A lot easier for
2
me.
weeks, cool. I'll aim for 2 and they can wait. Any other, so 2 weeks, spreadsheet.
It would really be helpful if you could just decode the colors. Emma, so that
A key,
Yeah,
some of us understand.
the email.
That would be good for me too.
So in the email, I'll just mention the colors.
Thank you.
Blue is GDOT, green is TPW, yellow is in progress. And I may not have captured all the in progress. It's a lot harder for me to work in list form than on a map, but this is what we got, so. I was gonna try to make an interactive map before this, and I was like, there's no way, I don't have time,
It's okay.
so.
Well, and interactive maps, as cool as they are, don't get you as much view into the details as this does, so.
All right, so sounds like you're gonna spend a little more time with this. When it's ready, you're gonna send us out with a color code, legend, kind of key situation. Let us know how much time we have. We'll give additional feedback. And then the idea is to finalize things and present in front of the Mayor Commission in the fall.
Yes.
That's exciting. I think I like the approach of like a top 10 or 15 versus like the tiers. I think that that's easier for commissioners to understand, and then having some flexibility in there and understanding that there's room to move around a little bit. And I think that will hopefully help commission also not feel so like locked in, or understand that we will take advantage of opportunities like when they arise. And as you said, like if sewer comes up on Nellie B or something like that, well, we'll still update Nellie B if it makes sense to do so.
Yes.
Great. Okay, and thank you all for your questions. I'm excited to move forward. Yeah, all right. So we're a little bit behind, but I'm gonna move into our next item on the agenda, which is I wanted to talk about May being National Bike Month. Every year, May is National Bike Month, and we have not done anything for this event. It's been happening a long time. I threw up some dates on here just to have y'all aware, but one, I'm wondering if there is an appetite to ride this event, no pun intended, like have our potentially like our tabling be focused on this, one, and two, do a State of the Union style working title event where we pull in staff, community partners like Greenway Commission, Friends of the Greenway, and kind of all come together in an event open for the public and just say, where are things? So it would be open for the public, but it could be as much of a public event as an opportunity for people who understand like their corner and what's going on to share that with others. And I want to talk with y'all about, but I did do a little bit of homework to see if staff had an appetite for that. And it sounds like they do. at least TPW. Haven't talked to anyone besides TPW. I've talked to Scott at Bike Athens. And he's done a little reconnaissance work, but the Bike Athens board has not weighed in yet. So Scott has sniffed out a potential location for this, which could be Authentic, which we've done some events there, and it's close to Bike Athens. And we know that the first Wednesday in May could be available for something like this.
And Authentic.
At Authentic, yeah. Scott's nodding. He's done a bunch of homework on this.
Are you thinking this after business hours?
Yes. So what I was imagining, and y'all tell me what you think, is, you know, when you go to a public input session, like say recently there was the new section of Greenway MLK where it's like a 2-hour drop-in, and then sometimes there's a little short presentation in the middle. So I was imagining something like that. So it's more like people are going around and talking, but there's still going to be this sort of like presentation in the middle that kind of ties it all together and helps us all see where we've come from, where we're going, and provides context and you know, opportunity for further questions. So not something that's too long. It's a little bit more going around and talking and everything. But for this kind of event to work, I would need like as many of us that could be there as possible. This would be like a big event. And it would, if we have a lot of people show up, it's going to be a lot on Daniel and Katie and Jason. So a lot of us can handle the one-on-one questions or point the public to where they need to go, but not just for that, but as a way to like network and everything. Like we're fortunate to have Ed from the Greenway Commission on there. And we're fortunate that Transit has been showing up to give us reports, but there's still like a lot of ways where we're all kind of siloed. So I hope this something like this could help advance us.
One thing to watch out for is this is like 2 weeks before the election. Making sure we're not competing with other election events, and that we can get some elected officials involved.
I'd like to do that. And I think that it would be okay if we were partnering with another group to invite candidates. May is kind of crazy. That's just how it is. We'll just have to see. Yeah, there's some other events going on at Authentic that night, but there is space for us on the patio.
What sort of visuals do you anticipate?
That's a great question, and I'm curious y'all's thoughts on that. I was imagining maybe tabling light, like we'll have to see how much space we have, but ideally we could have space to hand out some of our stuff. You know, what does Transit need if they wanted to come to hand out things? What does Greenway Commission, what do they want? Ideally, we would have at least 1 or 2 big printed maps. But I think I want to keep the floor open, and then anyone who is tabling, like there would be multiple people, so someone could man the table and another person could go and talk to people and vice versa, and can switch it up. So, yeah.
And Authentic is the little brew pub that's near Bike Athens, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so would we be doing this outside or?
Right now, it's the outdoor space is available, right, Scott?
Correct. I don't know if we have access to the private room in the back that's also connected to the patio or not. I know they have a musician playing in the evening in the main space, and they have the runners group does their weekly run that starts there at like 6:30.
And part of that patio is covered. Yes?
Yeah. It is.
Okay, because I was thinking, you know, weather is a factor.
Could be a beautiful day. Everyone's
Could be
enjoying
Italians
or.
Do you really want to call it the State of the Union?
No, it's a working title. I need ideas. What should we call it, Art?
Well, I think that might turn some people off.
Sure, yeah, I don't know what it is.
Especially giving our viewing options for the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that title needs to be workshopped if this is something that y'all want to do, and if, you know, the Board of Bike Athens wants.
What would be our objective to take away from it?
Yeah, really to get all on the same page and to disseminate the information that we have here that we're kind of wording and to point people in the right direction.
Education, right?
Yes, it's education and outreach. Thank you. Simply put, education and outreach. And networking.
I'll just mention too, with university, the commencement is on that Friday.
Yeah.
The first week, and then so most of the students will be gone and we probably wouldn't get any faculty, staff type user groups maybe because of commencement. Well, it is after hours. So
Yeah.
that student population would most likely be gone.
When is the game plan scheduled to be live, a new game plan?
We're presenting in the fall. We can still talk about it.
I want to say, I think it's August, September cycle.
Because I was thinking maybe have a kind of a big event once that comes out, I don't know, I mean. Let's do both.
Yeah. It's a few months away. I mean, it's like that's a fall time thing and.
But I mean,
Like month.
it's a heavy lift for staff to have to do, an after hours event.
I mean, it's not as heavy as, like, we're not organizing it, so. If we were asked to organize it, then I'd say, yeah, that's tough. I mean, we can show up.
Since we can't do it, but it's Bike Month, can Bike Athens put together a commissioner forum for the new commissioners that are going to be elected later this month to talk about National Bike Month topics?
I can't speak for Bike Athens. I think that we've had some conversations about things like that. And this would be how do I say this? A neutral event. I don't know.
Sure, I
Yeah.
don't think we could do it, but just like historic.
And certainly,
Athens
the
can have
public is
this.
invited, and certainly it'd be nice if candidates showed up, or and elected officials. But
What about
I don't think there's anything stopping it from.
what about what?
Go
There's-
Georgia? Is it Georgia Go or Georgia?
Yeah, go Georgia.
Go Georgia.
Yeah. So
Would you be thinking of announcing this like flagpole or something like that, or?
yeah, maybe. So what do I need? from y'all?
Authentic has offered to put it on their calendar. They do a really good job promoting their events because they got a wide variety of events all year long. And they'd be interested in promoting this.
Yes.
Cool.
And if there's additional work, like if there's an effort to have a bike month calendar, this could be on it. So this is kind of like a potential anchor event. So what I need from y'all is like vibes check on this. If you're interested, one, in doing an event and showing up to this. Two, are you okay with, if so, if you're okay with me and potentially the communications group with starting to talk with staff and groups outside to invite them to this. And then, yeah, if you have any interest in having our tabling and our other outreach be about promoting Bike Month and when I say like the State of the Union thing, it's not just about bikes. I think it is going to be about like alternative transportation, walking, rolling, transit, and all that stuff too. So just those are the things that I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So since y'all feel good about it and y'all think that you're willing to come to this event and help with it.
I'll try to pin us down.
I will try.
Okay.
I'll show up.
Oh, Jeremy, yeah.
Hi, this is actually Tina. This is Tina from Athens Transit. I'm just on Jeremy's computer right now, but I think this would be a very exciting event for us to partake in if we decide to make this official. I see that this is also advocacy for cyclists in transit in general, or not transit, but alternative transportation in general. So we would love to partner with you on this. If this is to be made official, I can't speak right now on behalf of our marketing coordinator, but she would be the one in charge of tabling for the event for education on transit and multimodal connection. But as staff, Jeremy and I would be interested in helping out however we can. If we don't have a table there, we'd be happy to, show our support and help around.
Thank you so much. We love hearing that. That would be great. And so it sounds like we have a good vibes check from transit, understanding that, you know, marketing coordinator still has to weigh in. And I'll be reaching out to other ACC staff too. And yeah, so sounds like I can move ahead. I will attend the Bike Athens board meeting on Monday, which is online, and we'll hear their interest in partnering. And like I said, Scott's done a lot of the initial investigation to figure out like where we could host this. And I will keep y'all posted, and maybe it would be useful to think like for education communications, like kind of tabling y'all, we want to do this spring that would support getting that information out, and also just Bike Month in general.
Yeah.
And
I'm having a hard time kind of getting a focus for the information that we're trying to put out there. So I'm having a little difficulty with that.
I
okay.
think we can discuss that, right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, we brainstorm it out and come up with something that makes sense, yeah. We can work with that, but, you know.
I think it's a good idea. We spend a lot of time talking in these meetings, and of course, it's live stream, but how many people are watching? And this is a way to
Right.
really convey not just what we're working on, but, you know, transit, bike, all sorts of other projects, get more people engaged.
Or maybe it's just like, I mean, talking about all the different entities that have to kind of work together to make these things happen.
I think as Lauren mentioned, since y'all haven't really done anything for Bike Month yet, the first version of this event might be something where you figure out what it is that people didn't learn or need to learn, want to know. And then next year it's easier.
yeah, we're, you know, it's a big effort, but we're kind of gonna go with like a minimum viable product and see how it goes. And there's gonna be mistakes and things that don't go well, and we'll just adjust.
I mean, honestly, just make us known to the public.
Sorry,
Like,
I can't hear you.
just making us known to the public. I feel like many people don't know we
Right.
exist or what we do. So,
Yeah.
if that is our opportunity to do that.
Right, I just wanted to feel like something that people go to and say, oh, that was interesting, rather than, I'm not really sure what that was.
Yeah, you wanna have like us be
I mean,
focused,
if we're
yeah.
gonna do it, I want it to be something that everybody gets something out of, and that helps us with our efforts.
Kind of a simple message that we can all make sure we're all kind of
Yeah,
paying the same.
but, you know, people show up for things, you know, it's like, well, what was that all about? Or, oh, okay. You know, I mean, I want people to say, oh, that was really interesting. You know, it's exciting to me that there are people in Athens who are working on these things.
Yeah, and again, yeah, some of this might be just figuring out what do people need to know, you know?
Is it something we want to promote or somehow at Twilight? Isn't Twilight the month before in April sometime?
It's like the week before.
I know it's a lot of out of town guests.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always kind of torn on Twilight because it's like a different set of riders. However, if you look downtown and see how many people biked
Yeah.
to Twilight,
People like to do
so
that.
those folks are out there.
It's a family event. I mean, people
Yeah.
come from all over.
Yeah.
I think it's not,
Twilight's in the middle of April, 17th and 18th.
They moved it.
it's earlier this.
Yeah, they moved it because there was that huge country concert going on at the stadium that usually announced later after Twilight had been announced, so.
Always the weekend of my husband's birthday, so it's easy to remember, but now.
Yeah.
Okay, really
You
Twilight.
just have to get your husband to change his birthday.
Because there was gonna be an extra, 50 more thousand people in town. It was just gonna be
Oh, wow.
absolute madness. Yeah,
Okay,
Be crazy.
Dang.
yeah.
life in
Yeah.
a college town.
How about state of motion?
Motion.
I don't know.
I've been trying to think, like, what's better than
I feel like that better.
Getting around
time
Athens.
available?
Yeah,
Y'all send me your ideas.
Yes, I thought of bike or die, but that might be too hardcore.
You thought of what?
Bike or die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for your life.
Bike for your.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sounds like a threat.
Yeah.
I saw a guy with a vest on and on the back it said F cars.
Yeah.
I've seen.
So there's a lot more we can talk about with this. It is coming up quick. Feel free to send your ideas. Let's get Education Communications Committee meeting on the calendar. We'll kind of suss this out, figure out what our focus is. And I'll talk with the Bike Athens board and start making a list of departments and nonprofits and stuff to invite to speak, and also people to invite to attend.
We could put one of my interns to work on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even Scott has resources for
Yeah.
us. Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. Thank y'all. All right. And we're running so low on time. So staff updates. Do we have Todd here? Did he have to go? I thought he was here originally.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I remember.
You want to give us a Firefly Trail update?
Yeah, I know. I'm dying to hear how that's going.
Yeah.
Me too.
No.
So my husband and I would bike to work once the Firefly Trail is complete. So haven't biked to work yet.
Uh-huh.
Text them and see if there's.
Okay, we can go ahead and move on to transit then. If y'all are ready to give an update.
Hello, everyone. This is Jeremy. How is everyone doing this evening?
Hey, we're great.
So, just a quick update on the transit side of things. We are currently post service change. Our service change occurred on January the 12th. So, right now, we are looking at our on time performance. Before the service change, it was 64%. And post service change, it has gone up another 6% to 70%.
Great.
Our goal is 80%, which is the standard for entry standard. So right now we are currently analyzing data to determine what our next minor service change would consist of. So with that, we would analyze our on-time performance for like the routes that are like below 7% on-time performance. So for people who aren't sure what on-time performance is, it's a measurement of the adherence to a timetable, usually between being 1 minute late, 1 minute early to 5 minutes late. So with that, we would tweak our schedules to up that number to closer to 80%. Also, with the analyzing of data, we are going to determine what would be a good time to implement our next minor service change. So we could be looking at the summertime. We aren't sure.
Okay. Great. So you guys have leeway on when you can implement service change, or is it you only have the 2 windows a year or something?
So we are allotted two minor service changes a year and
Right.
one
Right.
major service change a year.
Great. Okay.
Calendar year or fiscal year?
Fiscal.
Okay. Is that a federal fiscal or local fiscal?
How dare you?
They are one and the same.
Okay, cool. I thought federal was October. Excellent.
Okay. Thank you for that. I just want to say I was abroad for the first time. I took public transit in Portugal, and it was great. It was very easy, but it was easier. Athens Transit.
You just hop on a bus.
Yeah.
Don't even need to bring out the card. So great experience. And yeah, thanks. It's exciting that y'all are finding ways to improve your on-time performance there. And it's so awesome. I mean, I know this has been in place for a while that you can just, you know, decide where you want to go, pull it up on Google Maps and it will tell you what bus to take, when it's coming, and if it's a couple minutes late. So easy. The app is great, but also Google Maps, awesome. So y'all are doing great stuff over there.
Thank you. We greatly appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Any other staff updates, TPW? Let's, maybe we want to, since we're running low on time, push the crash report. Is that okay, Katie?
Yeah, it was gonna be great, but sure.
Okay. We already talked plan revision, safe streets for all. There was that article from Flagpole about the M&C work session. Do y'all want to give a quick summary of how that went?
Which,
It was the mayor and commission work session that we did for safety action plan.
yeah, sure, it was well received again. The commissioners kind of followed on their summer work session feedback. Yeah, saying stuff needed to be done for safety in our roads.
Do they seem responsible to the idea of like the toolkits?
We haven't gotten into that level of detail, I would
Okay.
say.
They're always a really quick, it's like kind of a 10-minute presentation, so
Yeah.
it's a lot to squeeze in one. I'm not sure. You know, ultimately, they wanted to see the actual document, so
And then-
that's coming soonish.
Okay, so you have another touch point with them soon?
No, it's just, I mean, the next touch point will be sending them the document as, in advance of the agenda. So they'll be able to review that and ask questions through that.
We're still thinking of vote in the spring?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to be.
If you want people to speak on that, we're happy to, or if you think it would be better if we didn't, we won't. Yeah.
We'll let you know.
Yeah.
When is
Love
it? When is the voting?
It's April 7th, I think it's the first Tuesday in April.
It may be helpful to get a letter of support. Is that something y'all want to discuss?
Yeah.
Easier than show, I mean, you can also do the comment. Anyone as a resident can do a comment, but
Yeah. I think it might be good to do a letter of support so we can send them something positive. Yeah. Anything, we've already talked, did we go over reconnecting communities last time? You're in contract negotiations?
no updates.
Okay.
Contract negotiations, yeah.
Okay, anything else y'all want to make sure we know about?
There was a bike fatality, yesterday
Yesterday.
on,
Athena or Olympic
I
Drive.
can't remember which one. Right.
Yeah, the person's being charged with DUI and side by vehicle.
Where was it?
Athena at Olympic Drives.
What time of day or night?
I think 8 PM is when it was, when the police responded.
Yeah, it says.
And the person had all their lights, it was an e-bike, all their lights were in order.
Hit from behind.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is on Olympic Drive, yeah, at Athena, the intersection.
What is a GS5 740-watt electric bike? Compared to,
What's that?
it's listed as a GS5 740-watt electric bike. Is that a regular electric bike? I have an electric bike. I have no idea what those terms mean.
I mean, I don't even have those details. Is that in the article or something?
It's in the press release from the police.
Okay, yeah, I assume it's,
Did the bicyclists have lights on or
I said
anything?
they did.
Yes.
yeah, it's all part of the e-bike thing, yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Did the driver stop and attempt to get help, or was it a hit and run?
Drivers had 5 DUIs and he got one this time too.
5 DUIs?
My gosh.
Why are they not in jail before this?
Why,
That's
yeah, why
ridiculous.
is this person out
Yeah,
behind the wheel?
clearly they're gonna keep driving no matter license being revoked, so. It's like the woman who, anyway.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I know exactly
Yeah.
where you're going with that, yep.
It's not far from there.
Yeah,
So, yeah, just no other updates aside, just wanted to mention that because I know that. And I know we normally cover the previous month's crashes and we didn't get a chance to do that. And this will be included in the next report, but with it being a bike related fatality, I want to go ahead and mention it. Same with pedestrians usually. So.
Yeah, January is actually a light month. We had no people walking or biking who had visible injuries.
Well, there was that in February did the first fatal crash happen?
It was January, but well, it's not marked as a pedestrian incident. It's the UJ student who was, his own truck backed over him on.
oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. It was marked as a vehicle. I guess it's kind of both.
We'll
Okay.
cover in detail maybe next month, the
Yeah.
crash report. We'll just have January, February. That's how, that gets weird. Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank y'all. Committees, Randy said there was no update from Lexington. He texted me that, I don't think we have any updates from policy and projects right now. Communications, we're gonna get a meeting on the calendar, right? UGA.
I'll just briefly mention, a few months ago, I mentioned that intramural fields, they were creating a sidewalk that went all the way back to the tennis court. But it did just stop before the lake. Well, they've now completed, or they're almost done completing that portion back up to the intramural parking deck.
Nice.
So it'll go all the way from the deck back to the tennis courts.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, okay, yes.
Well, yeah, it looks really good.
Finally.
I typically do a bird walk a season out there, and the walk around from the tennis courts around the side of the lake was always kind of treacherous. I love seeing that sidewalk.
Should be good.
Love that sidewalk. Nice.
I did get an update from Todd.
Okay.
They're still shooting for a late March to April Firefly opening. There's some utilities at Hancock and past Moss Road that's delaying the contractor. And they just got back from a punch list walk from Hancock to Moss. So
Okay.
that's why I missed the meeting. So I guess he wasn't on it earlier.
So is this the whole section through the disputed property or just the next phase?
Just
Like,
just
yeah.
the phase that's currently under construction, that phase, I think is part 1.2.8, I don't know. It's like, there's segment 3 and then 3.1,
Yes.
3.2, and I don't know exactly the sub-project, but there's a sub-project that is that disputed thing. But yeah, they're working on this current phase. So the opening, they'll probably have ribbon cutting.
Please keep us posted.
So I guess you might hear about it before I do, or maybe as the Greenway Commission, because you're a point of contact over there with Leisure Services. So if you do hear about it, could you forward that along to the AIM? Awesome. And I could do the same if it comes to me as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah, thank you. Ed, anything else from the Greenway Commission? You were reviewing the comments from the plan.
Just, yeah, that was the big thing of minor interest is that we're actually full staffed now. All of our vacancies have been filled. And so looking forward to working with some new folks and everything.
Alan, I'm assuming 2023 hasn't been meeting?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I read through the audit report for the capital projects department, and that was highlighted in there, how hard it is to have those meetings. So, yeah, sorry about that. Anyone else have any announcements before I kick it over to Scott to talk about Joyride? Okay. Scott, you have the Joyride this week?
As always, it's the end of the month. We have Joyride on Friday, 6 o'clock here at Bike Athens. I don't have any other updates for you, I don't think.
Should have warmed up a good bit by then.
Yeah.
Please.
No, I went out and didn't bike here. All right, great meeting, y'all. I'm very excited about the plan updates and Safe Streets for All coming through, and thank you, for being down to do some kind of state of the world, state of the motion, the locomotion, the crazy.
The movement of the motion.
Yeah. I will keep y'all posted on that. Please come to our education communications meeting if you want to help. Hopefully everyone can be here if we do an event. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So, what am I trying to say here? Go ahead.
Second.
Okay, first, second, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Say more. Thanks.